G'day, welcome back. I'd especially like to welcome my new subscribers, and I hope you enjoy the content on my channel. If you missed the last video, the tilting swiveling vice setup I made, there's a link up there and go watch that first. Come back and watch this one. Now I did mention in that video, or the video before, I can't remember now, yeah I think it was that one, that I could do with a bigger tap wrench, because the little this old Tony copy I made long time before I even had the mill I made in the drill press is too small for some of the bigger taps that I have now. So follow me over the bench and I'll show you what I've got in mind to make a bigger one. Over there. Alrighty, so this is the original version I made of this old Tony's tap wrench, and it served me well. I made that a long time ago in my drill press because I didn't have a mill, and I machined out these V's in there with a with a chamfering tool. But now I have better tools for doing that, and carbide stuff and all sorts of things, and the mill to do it in. So hopefully this one will turn out better. So what I'm going to do is I'll use a piece of this, which is 5/8 and a bit wide, 3/4 or something. That's a bit of offcut, and I haven't got any left. I'll use some 16mm round. I've got a length of that on order, half a metre of that on order. And where these handles here are only 85mm long, I'll make them 150mm long each side. Knurl them up with my new knurling tool, and I'll make it to handle taps like this, which are quite a bit bigger than what you could possibly fit in there. In fact, neither my M10 or M12 taps will actually fit in there without trying to grind the corners here off them, so I'll fit down between the two bolts. This one I used M6 threads in there. This one I think I'll just use M8 threads. They should be strong enough to do that with. But anyway, so we'll get on with it. I'll just machine this up first, and then I'll cut it into 2 pieces, and then we'll machine the V's in it and then drill some holes in it while I'm waiting for this bit of rod to show up. Oh, I forgot to turn the radio off, so you would have just listened to a bit of music. Having some issues getting a decent finish. Not getting the beautiful fly cutter finishes that I was getting before. So I went through this morning and adjusted all the gibs, and if you're a late comer to this channel, this mill has 3 gibs on the Z axis, and I've adjusted all them this morning. It's not really improving it much. It's sort of like everything's bouncing. I think it might be the damn table and the fact that it's a bit of a lightweight, got no real mass to it. Anyway, I don't really know. Now, I had to change the heart about what I was going to make the gripping jaws out of, so I switched to this instead of that big chunk said I was going to use. But anyway, so I'll flip that over and do the other side, and we'll keep going. Alrighty, so I squared that end there up before I cut these off, and then I squared that end off. So I'll deburr that, and we'll put them both in and machine this edge off. Alrighty, you may have noticed when I was machining this, it was cutting more over on the back edge than the front edge. And I was looking at that thinking, it's probably just the material. But when I adjusted the gibs on this morning, the ones over on this side here were, well, incredibly loose. But this is how much difference it made. I just noticed that when I went to clamp both of these pieces in the vise at the same time. 12.1 on that edge, 11.75 on that edge. I even, when I machined it, I even flipped it that way so that hopefully it would even it out, but it bloody didn't. So looks like I've got to adjust the knot on this before I go any further. Well, it's taken a couple of hours of messing around with this, but I'm almost back to my fabulous fly cutter finishes. That's still not quite the finish I used to get, but that's a 0.2 radius tip, and I was using 0.4s before. I did make a pass over that with a 0.4, but they're such crappy tips. They were cutting on the way over, but then cutting on the way back as well. Even just here you can see I started to feed back with the 0.2, but it was just rubbing on it. It wasn't actually cutting anything off it. But anyway, so I've got that all sorted out now. These measures, the other side hasn't been machined, but it measures the same both sides, so I can only assume that's now pretty right. So I'll get those other 2 back, get the bits back in there and fix them up. As you would have been able to see, it was taken almost nothing off here and the mountain stuff off there. When that was the thick side, this was the thin side. Oh, that didn't look good. Oh, both of them dropped. I'll just go deburr this. Alrighty, we've got two equal sides now. 11.52 that end. 11.56 this end. 5.5. 5. Yeah, that'll do me. I can live with that. Alright, we'll get on with cleaning up the rest of them. Clean up these two edges. Alrighty, so that's all the sides cleaned up. Do something about deburring these and we'll cut some V's in them. Alrighty, I'm a little torn as to how I should go about this. Whether just run this straight through there or get this little 6mm carbide one I got recently out and run that across there. Although this one, I think this one was listed as a spotting drill, but I've also got this one which is listed as a chamfering tool. But anyway, I don't know which one do the better job. I'll have a crack at that gold one. So the plan is to run that through there as sort of deep as I can, then I'll switch to the 10mm one and run that one down as deep as as deep as I need to go. I don't know, this 6mm one might even be deep enough. Set the Z there at 0, looks like it's just about touching it, so I get an idea of how deep I am. Let's go down 0.35 for starters and just see how it goes. Whether that was cutting or just bloody rubbing on it. Anyway, go a bit deeper. Let's try something a bit deeper. 0.5 mil. Let's try a millimetre. Something I should have done today while I was underneath there with the spanners and the sockets. This whole thing's wobbling this way. I meant to check the 3 bolts where this thing bolts to the wall, make sure they're still tight. Well, keep going. Alrighty, let's switch to the 10mm one. Damn, it's a lot harder to wind that up now that the gips are all adjusted up. Alright. That's interesting. Alrighty, so the smallest tap I want to put in there is the 12mm. Still go a bit deep. Oh, not much. That's about as deep as I can go to get the 12mm in there. And I'm not happy with this. It's very flat in the bottom there, so that's not much chop. What I might have to do is cut as deep as I can with the little 6mm one, and then run the 10mm one through it after. Right, I won't bore you with this anymore. I'll get on and get the rest of this done. Alrighty, so I got this second one done. I should have had a look at this little 6mm cutter yesterday when I pulled it out. It actually broke the back edge out of there and the back edge out along there. Wrecked the centre point, so it's no good as a centre drill anymore, but I guess I could probably still use it as an edging tool. But anyway, it's a bummer. When I was setting up to do this one, I couldn't find the gold coated spotting drill that I normally use for spotting and quite often for drilling all the way through for 10mm holes. But then I found it and I used it to cut this one all the way down, so it worked out pretty well. Getting a little tempted to double side these things, so that I can cut a much deeper one in the other side for this 20mm tap I've got, which is it's quite huge, but that might hold it alright. Anyway, so next up will be drill some holes in here. Alrighty, so I thought I'd best check and make sure that it was deep enough in there and I didn't need to cut it. The second one on the back here, and decided I didn't need it, so I've cut these down to something a bit smaller. And all I need now is for that damn 16mm round to show up. It's coming with the old slow coach carry, so maybe it'll get here today. I only ordered it 4 or 5 days ago. Bloody ridiculous. Alright, until that bit of 16mm gets here, I'm sort of come to a screaming halt. Alrighty, so a bit of round showed up late yesterday afternoon, so we'll get in with this. Now I've left it as one piece to make both handles, and what I'm going to do first is just knock the crap off the outside knurl each end, both ends, before I go any further, and I'll pop it out and put a centre in it and do all the turning, one end at a time. Having a bit of a sing, but it doesn't really matter considering I want to knurl it. It's still enough. A little bit more. Geez, that's a fine knurl, that. I think I'm going to have to live with that. It's incredibly fine. Bloody hot too. Anyway, I'm not going to play around with that any longer. I'll get that out of there and I'll do the other end, but you don't need to do that. Alrighty, so that's both of the knurls done. This is the first one. I went over it again because the second one came out really nice. So what I'm going to do now is just skim that off so this is running true with that. Spin it back around again and do the same at the other end, and then I shall go and cut it off and we'll grip it up here on the knurl and do all the turning on this end. No, I won't do that. Actually, no, I think I'll just clean that up and I'll turn the taper in here, or I can go this way and then turn it around and do the other end, because there's about 45 or 50 millimeters on the end of each of these where it's got to be threaded and everything, so I've got room to hang on to it there. And I'd rather use this solid tool post. Oh, that's a pretty wonky bit of bar, or it was pushing it away as it was machining it. This is going to take a while, I'll bring you back later. Alrighty, so while you guys weren't looking, I've done both ends. This is the second of the knurls, and it came out much better than the first one did. And I redid the other one, so it looks a bit better than it did. It seems like they got a little bit of tearing in them, or I don't know whether it's bits that have been jammed in there by the rollers or what. But I've messed around a little bit setting up this compound. So let's get into it. I've got it set at about 4 degrees, I think. Looking at that, I think I need to change that. I might knock it back to 3 degrees. Well, I think I might change it again. That's down to 10mm there. I don't know, I go much smaller. Come back another degree. Alrighty, so the real question is, a shitty finish, I'll take some polish on it, that will, is machine that off, the same diameter as that, or just leave that alone? I might just step it out a little bit. Alright, that's going to take some cleaning up. I won't bore you with that. So I'll get that one done. And I'll turn around, I'll do the other end exactly the same, and then we'll cut them in half and do something about some threads. Alrighty, so that's both ends done. This is the second side. I've got a little line in there which hasn't come out with all the sanding and everything, but I don't know if I could be bothered chasing it. It's pretty bloody hot. I might, it's lunchtime, I'm going to have some lunch, and I feel like it when I come back out I might try and polish that one out of there. There's another little line just there too. But anyway, we're getting there. At this point in the video, I'd like to thank my patrons for the continued support. It's greatly appreciated. If you'd like to become a patron, there's a link down in the description. You can sign up down there and toss me a couple of dollars every month. If you don't want to become a patron, there's always Buy Me a Coffee, and there's a QR code on the screen there. You can scan that, or there's always that thanks button down there. Well, viewers, I was sitting there having lunch, and I suddenly had a horrible feeling. I was doing a bit of editing, and I heard myself say there was 45 to 50 millimeters on the end of each of these handles sitting up inside there to hang on to. And it suddenly occurred to me that there isn't, because I should have doubled that, and I didn't. So instead of making 150 millimeters, that's 300 for 2, plus another 100, 400, I went 150, 300 plus another 50. So I'll pick the best of these two, I think this one, and cut it off here where I should cut it off, so I've got enough to make the thread and everything on there. And I might have a little look-see if I've got enough meat in here to drill and tap that, and just put a very long piece of, either a piece of all thread or a, if I can get it, a really long grub screw up in there, but I doubt it. I don't think there's enough meat in there. Anyway, looks like I'm making a second half. What an idiot. Alrighty, I might only have one decent one left, but I might as well get on with fixing that, or finishing that one. Alrighty, just had a massive storm blow through here. You can probably hear it's still raining on the roof. I had to abandon ship net inside for a while. I had a hell of a time threading that. I don't know why. I had to turn it down to 7.5 millimeters in the end to get it to thread. It just didn't want to go up there at all. I've used this die nut before and I've never had that many problems with it, but anyway. So that one's done. I've got an idea of how I can fix the other one, and that is to machine up a pin like this, and that's 8 millimeters. Turn a little bit that goes up inside here down to 7 millimeters, and put a 6 millimeter thread that goes up inside here, and then, you know, bore out the end of the shaft here, so that that bit that's turned down to 7 mils got somewhere to give it a bit more strength, so that if you're really laying into a die nut or a tap rather, you can less chance of snapping it off. So I think I'll have a crack at making that, even though I had that much trouble threading this. Anyway, get on with it. Alrighty, so I did what I said I might do, and I made this up this morning. In all honesty, it would probably have been quicker to make another one of them, but I'd rather save the material. This was just a scrap piece lying around. So I'll Loctite that in there now. If I've got any left, keeps falling over on the bench. I lost the bloody lid ages ago. Tight. This is 7 mil, this bit just here, and I drilled a hole in there and reamed it to 7 mil. So there'd be a pretty decent fit in there. Alrighty, so I wasted so much time this morning. It's lunchtime now, just about lunchtime, so I'm going to have some lunch and I'll let that cure. I left this just a little oversized so that if it had any run out in it I could clean it up afterwards. So I'm going to have some lunch, and when I'm done I'll come and sort this out and tidy that back up again. Alrighty, so this has a bit too much run out of it to be trying to turn it, so I've just cleaned it up with a file and a bit of sandpaper, so make sure it all fits nice. Threaded end. Righto. Didn't have anywhere near as much trouble cutting this thread this morning as I had cutting the thread yesterday on the other one. Don't know why. In fact, the other one, it was massively oversized. I had trouble screwing it up onto these things, and in the end what I had to do was run the die nut up and then fire it up and just kick it a little bit sideways so it would cut a little bit oversized to make it fit, but this one's fine. Actually it's a little bit tight just about there somewhere, but that doesn't matter. Alrighty, so all I need now to do is, there's a little gap there, but I'll pull it together, is round the corners off on these, dress them up a bit, and we'll be done. Well, there we have it, viewers. I'd almost defy anyone to pick which one of those is made out of two pieces, because it is really hard to tell. Anyway, put this thing together and we'll have a little look-see. Alrighty, there we have it. I didn't clean these up as much as I would have liked, because the really fine belt that I have on the belt sander, which is how I normally clean things up, bloody broke on me and ripped a big hole in it while I was doing it. When I was around the corners, I dug in one of these edges. So I did something I don't normally do, and I hit it with, like, rubbed it on some sandpaper for about half an hour, but that's as good as I'm prepared to make it go. It's not trying to win a beauty contest, but as you can see, she's a fair bit bigger than the old one, so that's pretty good. I like it. Shame these two didn't come out quite the same. That new one seems, I mean, it worked okay there, but I had a lot of time doing that one. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching me make that, and if you did, make sure you give it a great big thumbs up, and I'll see you all next week for whatever it is that I'm going to make next. Bye bye.